Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're finally tackling the project that I've been wanting to tackle for months now. I've had this window for, 3 or 4 months now. I've had the kit that I got to make this thing a really good install, and you guys are gonna really like. I'm gonna leave all the links in the description below for what I have, what I need, what you need if you wanna do this. The hardest part was sourcing that window. If you have not already, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, hit that bell button so you get those notifications, because you know what, this is gonna be a good install. It's gonna be a multiple step process. I'm gonna show you how to take the window out. I'm gonna show you how to install this window, and we're gonna go ahead and show you exactly what I'm gonna do to stop as much leaking as possible, because all said and done, this window is not made for these trucks. It is a conversion, and there is really no right way, no wrong way to do this, and that's the best part about doing something like this. I'm very excited. I'm gonna show you the step-by-step process. If you've missed last week's video, I started to swap my cloth seats for leather seats, doing a full console instead of a flip bench. I have not put the rears in because we need to do this first. So let's go ahead and just get this started and get this process going. So first thing first is you're gonna have this lip here. If you see, it's not a completely flush flat lip. Then if you come in the center of the window here, like right here, it's nice and flat. We need to sand this lip down. All this stuff, you know, you've got your studs here, you gotta sand all this stuff down. And that's simply just because these windows, like I said, are not manufactured for our trucks, so we don't have the specific grooves that this window has. In regards to all these studs, we're going to be cutting the bottom studs off, and we're actually going to use what it's called a bolt-on method. The side studs and these top studs up here, they all line up pretty well. You're going to have to use you're going to have to use washers, you know, to help grip the metal of the inside of the truck, but they line up pretty good. Who I found this conversion, who I got the stuff from, because I got a complete kit all ready to go from a gentleman on Instagram. I'm gonna leave his link in the description below. Make sure you guys go ahead and follow him. He has great videos on this, does a great job. He's been doing this for a very long time, so I'm gonna take all his advice. But like I said, when it comes to this window, there's no right or wrong, because it's just not made for our trucks, and you're basically fabbing this to fit it. So you're gonna go ahead, get all this gunk out. I'm gonna sand this down. I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna just sand it all down. I'll do a spot and I'll show you. I'll come back here in a second. All right, so now that I got most of this sanded down, you can see here it's all real nice and smooth all the way around. That is what you want it to look like. Now we're gonna go ahead and take the angle grinder. We're gonna cut this stud off down here. We're gonna cut this stud off down here. I'm also going to cut these off. They're like little plastic pins. They're really not going to serve any purpose, so I'm going to cut those off. And we got to take these little plastic tabs out. Once I got it sanded down, I'm going to go ahead and take my sander and I'm going to sand it back down. And just like that, that's exactly what you want it to look like. So this is my secret weapon I got right here. This is what is going to help me do this the right way. So right here are the magic parts. This is a pre-formed drip pan that you could say. It's going to totally encase the motor. And then down here we have everything I need. This is actually a rubber gasket, and this is the next step that I'm going to show you guys. And this right here is the urethane, and you actually have to be a dealer for the urethane to be able to get this. So if you're going to do this, I would really suggest just contacting the guy that I got this from. It's a lot easier. Ships it to you right away. It does good work. So right here is an entire rubber gasket that's going to wrap around the entire window. This is known to be one of the hardest parts, because you have to get it in and get it sucked onto here, and it's kind of a pain. So you definitely want to get it out. You want to get it in the sun. You want to get it so it's more pliable, and then you can be able to wrap it around. And you might need 2 hands. I'm not 100% sure yet. Now with the steps that you have to take, I'm doing this. I'm prepping the window before I actually take my window out, because I don't want to break the window. If I break the window while I'm prepping it, I don't want to have my window already out. So I want to make sure I have the window completely prepped before I take my window out, and that's why you're seeing this step before I even do anything with the truck or inside the truck. I actually have to take one extra step because the window I got from the junkyard actually had a broken tab on it for the window motor to mount to. So I'll show you guys that in a little bit. I got a 3D printed piece off eBay that I got that I will hopefully replace it with, and it'll work just fine. So I'll show you guys that right now. So right here we have my 3D printed clip that I had got. It's got the screw already factored in it right there where the motor part will screw in. This one broke on me. So you got this right here, and then this one broke on me, and they're different. They're definitely different, but luckily it lines up the exact same holes. So I've got to take this off real quick. Be very careful with it. This is a very nerve-wracking part on my case because of this piece of glass alone. I mean, the worst case scenario is if I break it, I break it. I can replace this, but I really don't want to have to replace this. So I'm going to have to go ahead, try and take this off very carefully, and then move on from there. All right, so I got it off. I ended up having to take a jigsaw with a metal blade and kind of very lightly skim the top here and then flip it around and do the other side. And then there was a little chunk here that you had to take off. Now this is really, really strong epoxy. So with the hacksaw, I also have this nice little tool I picked up from the local hardware store. Really, really thin blade. It worked really good to get in deep down in here. But now, so I got to glue this in, and I could have got some epoxy, but I'm not going to. It really clips in there pretty strong. But then I got some Loctite glass glue, and this will bond any type of material to glass. You know, so it'll basically any metal, plastic. Not 100% sure on wood, it'll bond it right to glass. So I'm going to go ahead, fill this up with all that, get it real filled up good, and put it right in the same spot. I did mark my center point where the screw hole really lined up so that I get it kind of in place. What I did here is I put a bunch of it on the inside, and then I put it on the glass where I marked the glass before I put it in, and then I just kind of ran this along the edge real lightly, you know, kind of almost like caulking it in. And then also there's these little dots in here, and I put it in there as well. So I can tell you right now that that thing is not going to go absolutely anywhere, and I'm excited because I did not break it. We're going to go ahead and get the rubber gasket on the window outside, and then I'm going to go ahead, get in the truck, start taking stuff apart, and get that window out. All right, so I'm starting on the gasket here now, and this actually isn't as terrible as what I was told it was going to be. I obviously started right at the center, and you start at the bottom because you don't want your splice point to be at the top. You want it to be at the bottom so that any drips drip down. But then I wanted to point this out right here because I do feel like this is going to be a leak point. I know these windows do leak, and that's why we get that drain pan kit and everything like that, and I'll show you, obviously I'll show you in the next video of everything you got to do for that. But then I wanted to point this out because this is a spot where I really do think this is going to leak. I still have to get these off yet, but I would highly suggest maybe once you get this in, if you're getting a lot of leaks, maybe you could dabble a little bit of silicone right up in here, and that should take care of any type of leaks you get. You know, just realistically, just like any window, if you got some leaks like your rear window, a little bit of silicone can usually take care of that. This really isn't that bad. It's definitely tedious. I would really heat it up in the sun if you can before, and yeah, I'll show you in a little bit when it's all done. I'm a one-man show, but to take these plastic clips off, it's really simple. You just take a real nice flat blade screwdriver, kind of pry it up, and it'll start coming up for you. Just keep that in mind when you're looking at how the heck am I going to get this off without breaking the window. They just kind of really just pop off just like that. It's real simple. So first thing first, now that we're in the truck, we've got the gasket on. Like I said, you always go, I started from the center, from the bottom, and work my way around. I'm gonna let this sit in the sun so that this gasket really makes its mold, so it molds to the window, and that I don't have any issues when I go to install it, as well as once it's sitting in the sun long enough, I can start pulling this together and making this gap here closer. We're gonna take this off. This is really simple. It just kind of pops off here. Just like that. There's all these clips here. Don't mind all the dog hair. I'll pop this off, show you now what's next. So right over here you have your defrost. We got to get that unplugged. That's really simple. Just basically slides off like that. There's one side over here and one over here. Now I will be reusing my defrost on that center window section. Again, I'll show you that when it comes time to wire this back up. But right now we really got to just get this window out. So your next step is you're gonna have 2 screws right here, 1, 2, then 2 over here, 1, 2. You gotta take these screws off so that this pillar can come off. All right, so this pillar here, this pillar just pops on out. It's got these clips in here. Again, kind of just like anything else when it comes to all those plastic clips and everything. You know, don't be afraid to give it a yank. You're not gonna break it. The worst case scenario is you'll pop a clip off and you have to put the clip on. Go ahead then, take that pillar off, and we'll keep this pillar just kind of off like this. And then go ahead and take that side and pop it off. Once you get that off, here's your window defrost again. Just kind of get that off of there. It's kind of stuck in the nastiness of the stuff that I'm about to talk about. And like I said, we are going to reuse these wires for this. The next step is you're gonna want a plastic tool remover, because you need to pop these plastic tabs out of here. These little plastic pry bars are outstanding. They're very simple to use. Get it started for you, and then you just pull it on out. Wow, that thing is long. Holy cow, I was not expecting that. So then go ahead and do this other side. All right, so here you go. This right here is the tool that you're gonna need and able to score along that window urethane. You need to order this. You're not gonna find this anywhere local. I'll leave that link in the description below. Like I said, you gotta come all the way around here. And you're not gonna be able to see it, but you gotta get up there in the window. And I've got tape out here, and that tape I'm gonna tape and with that tape I'm gonna tape the outside of the window, and I'll show you guys exactly that when I get to that point, because I don't want the window to pop out and fall on me. That way I can catch it once I get done cutting it. This is gonna be an absolute pain. You're gonna need this tool, and I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be an absolute pain. You're gonna be cursing, you're gonna be sweating. This stuff is very nasty. It's very hard to get cut out. It's a pain. So this is probably gonna be the all-time hardest part about this entire install. That being said, I'm gonna start cutting at it. I'm probably not gonna film this just because it's pretty simple. I'll film a little part so you can see what I'm exactly doing, and then you know, I'll just kind of cut out of it, because there's no need for you to see exactly me cutting the entire spot. I'll tune in as soon as I get to a point where, hey, I was like, hey, this is hard, this is tricky. But for the rest of this, I don't really need to film that. So I went ahead and put some cut resistant gloves on, also safety glasses, just because I am dealing with glass and I'm cutting out. It actually was not as hard as it at first. You can actually feel here when you get to a point of, you can feel the window and you got the window cut free, or you can feel that you're going against this stuff, and then you can feel, oh, I just cut down into the window. It's actually a really good thing. It wasn't actually that terrible, this part. So I'm gonna go ahead and tape the outside of the window here and make sure that when I cut the top, it doesn't drop down on me. So right here is how I tape the back of the window. I probably could have got away with just 3 pieces of tape, but just for ease of mind, I went with 5. So now I'm gonna go ahead and cut the top and cut the sides. So I will point out here that the hardest part so far is these corners. So when it came to these corners, I had to kind of do a lot of flipping. So I had to go like this, and come in like this, and go back like this. You kind of just had to keep wiggling it. But honestly, if you just keep wiggling it, you keep like going at it, you're gonna need a lot of force, you're gonna need a lot of pressure, but it's definitely doable. It's 100% doable. I'm very excited. I didn't think it was gonna come out this easy. So I'll see you when I'm ready to take it out. All right, so I have my eyeglasses off, I have my gloves off, and that is because I got the window taken care of. Now I got this window completely out, no problem at all, no glass or anything broken on it. Now we've got a pain to deal with, because now we have to take all this off of here. It's all the way around, it's all the way up in here. Absolutely have to take that off, so that when you put the urethane on the window, this nice smooth part that you sanded out can now go on there with no problem at all. All right, so the next step we have to do is we have to cut the section out where the pan's gonna go, and then we're also gonna cut the carpet and our vents to exactly where that's gonna go, so it lines up perfectly. All right, so now I've got my pan where it's gonna go, it's laid out. I've got this cut out. Now I angle grind it up, and then I cut across here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold this down, and then I'm gonna cut as close as I can along this line. All right, so that's what that looks like. Now you can kind of grind this down if you want, but that window actuator is gonna come down and up right here, and you don't want it to get caught on this. I got that all cut out and I got it all nice and neat. I'm gonna go ahead, finish getting my window prepped. I'm gonna go ahead, make sure this is on there nice and good before I go ahead and put it on. Get it ready, bolt it in. I'll get my urethane on here on the outside, and I'll go ahead and put it in.